so beautiful? Huh? Huh? Why are you so beautiful?
Good morning. Good morning. We are going on a small road trip. Nothing too crazy. We're just headed to Goldsboro to Lexi's, which is where we used to live. Sorry about the wind noise. But there's no AC in the car, so while I'm recording it'll get hot. But we're headed to Goldsboro because of we got a routine. Lexi has a routine doctor's appointment. She needs some refills on her meds, and just to let you know, I alluded this to. I don't even know if I kept. I know I recorded it, but I don't know if I kept it in the final vlog. But in case I didn't, for those of you who don't know, I'm a veteran, and for years I wasn't going to VA because I was paying for insurance, my private insurance, and since I was paying for it, I decided to use it. And if those of you who are veterans know that going to VA can be a process.
Stressful.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it's a process. And so I just figured it was easier to use my private insurance, but I don't have that right now, and I had to register with the facilities here in Fayetteville, so that I could get my meds, and I was running out of meds, and one particular med I hadn't had in almost 2 months. So the good news is I went yesterday. I have a doctor's appointment, but it's not until the 31st, so I was able to go to the emergency room and tell them, hey, I need refills on my meds. And I think the longest part of the whole visit was waiting for my meds to be made, or is that the right way to say it? They had, I learned that the pharmacy has to put your meds together then. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So that was the longest part. Literally, I walked in, they took my vitals, asked me, the doctor, the very friendly doctor, he was like, hey man, he was like, do you know what meds and the doses? And I showed him, and he put it in, and he was like, all right, you're all set, man. And I was like, that's it? And he was like, well, I can make you be here a little longer if you really want to. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And so I walked.
No, because usually you go to an ER and you already go with the expectation of I'm going to be there for at least 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
At the very least. But that was not the case when you text me and you were like, all right, I'm waiting for my meds. I was like, huh? What? You just got there. What the hell? But it worked out, so it was awesome. It's awesome.
I went, I dropped Lexi off at work, and I was like, well, I'm going to go while you're at work. I'll go while you're at work so that, I'm just sitting in the house by myself while you're at work. So I was like, I'll go, and I got there. You figure I dropped Lexi off about 9-ish, and by 11 o'clock, I was already back at the house. I was like, wow, that was great. And like I said, the longest part was, they had to...
Waiting for the pharmacy,
to get my meds together. And then as a veteran, it was free. So I had to pay. So I was like, oh shit, I pulled out the card, and they were like, no. And I was like, what? I was like, I've been paying for all this time? Yeah.
Especially one of the meds.
Especially, yeah. For those of you who don't know, I take an inhaler. It's called Advair. And the Advair is the name brand, right? It's the Nike of the medicine, and that med was without insurance is $600, $660, something like that. So it was, yeah. And even a generic version, I was paying without insurance, I was paying $90 at the most.
I think there was one time where we paid like 200 and something for it.
The first time in Florida.
Yeah, because we couldn't find a coupon.
The first time we got to Florida, I had to pay for it, and it was $200. It was like 180, something like that. And yeah, but when she was like, yo, you don't have to pay. I was like, oh snap, son. Like, there's perks to this veteran shit. So Lexi and I want to say that if you just joined our family, if you just subscribed to this channel within the last 30 to 40 days, then we want to say much love to all you. We haven't said it yet. We haven't acknowledged all of you yet, but in the last, I don't know, like I said, 30, 40 days, we have literally doubled our subscriber count. So we just want to say holla to all of you beautiful people that have just joined us and decided that y'all liked us enough to keep coming back and witnessing the journey. And if this is your first vlog, this one right here, if this is your first vlog, your first time here at the channel checking us out, do us a favor. I hate to say smash because everybody says smash. That sounds so corny, but like smash the like button, like as many times, like repeatedly, over and over again, and hopefully like it'll give us every time you do it that'll be another subscribe. No, just kidding. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button, man. Show some love. We're trying to grow this channel and make this a thing, and we need all the support we can get. We need good folk like you to believe in us and watch the journey unfold as we go through it. So like I said, if this is your first time here, man, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, like it, and I always leave pinned comments underneath the video in the comment section. So check them out if you haven't noticed it. Check it out, and leave us your thoughts to whatever I decide to put there. Like, leave us your thoughts, and let's start the conversation. And like I said, we're not doing this simply for views, and we're although I'm not gonna lie to you, like, we want to get paid, and we want to make this a business and make money from it. We're not doing it just for that. Like like I said, we hope to help and inspire and other people who are the few like you that are going through going through or would or have gone through the similar situation, that to show you that it can be, rebuilding can be done, and it just takes a little effort and time, but we're grateful that you're here to go through with us. So I know that I speak for the both of us when I say we appreciate all of you, all 690 of you who have decided to follow us and subscribe to our channel and show your continued support. So we appreciate it immensely. And like I said, if this is your first time here, subscribe! So we're here. We made it to Lexi just walked in to a home. I don't want to go in there and sit down and do that. I'd rather enjoy the fresh air and stuff like that. Dealing with a little bit of anxiety, so the fresh air helps. But like I said, she's just getting she has to pick up some meds, and they can't see you, they can't give you refills unless they make a doctor's appointment. And it's a mixture between, sorry about the wind, I know y'all hear that, mixture of covering the ass and a way to make money. But Let me explain that, you know, for those that may be asking, why did we take a road trip just to come to the doctor where we used to live instead of finding one in Fayetteville? Um, I know that most of you are about our age or older, right? So, uh, it's just a matter of like comfortability. You go somewhere and you're comfortable. You like the doctors, you like the staff, you like the facility, like everything is just. So she's like, I don't want to go somewhere and I don't feel comfortable, and I don't like the people there and stuff like that. So, I told her, I'm like, and again, as you, how do I say this respectfully? As you mature, certain things become more important to you, and one of those things is, comfortability. You want to go somewhere where you feel comfortable, and people are nice and stuff like that. So, I told them, she asked me on the way up here. She's like, do you think that's crazy? And I'm like, nah, like, understand that, you know, at Lexi's, she's hit the 50 mark. I'm not quite there yet, but even at my age, at 46, like I'm at the point where, like, I don't care what anybody thinks or how crazy it may sound to anybody else, as long as it makes sense to me. You know, even when I was younger, I would travel, I would travel good distances just to get a haircut. Like, man, look, this is where this is where I lived. Like, I would live. At one point when I was in Killeen, Texas. I lived on a border of Killeen and a town called Harker Heights, and my barber was all the way in Copper's Cove in the other direction. And I would take that drive every 2 weeks and go get a haircut from there. That's where I was comfortable. That's where, I liked the people. I like the barber was nice, and like, it was just a vibe that I enjoyed. So I went, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody but you. So I'm like, if you want to stay here and you make your appointments and we take the drive, then I'll take the drive with you, and we come down and we, enjoy the drive, have some lunch while we're here at our favorite spot here in Goldsboro, and which I'm gonna take y'all to go see. And you know, I'm like, who cares? It doesn't need to make sense to anybody. There's doctors in Fayetteville. Who cares? I don't want to go to a doctor in Fayetteville. I like coming here. This is where we've come. The entire time we lived in Goldsboro, this is where we were. So, why not? If you're willing to make the drive, pay the gas, whatever it is, then so be it. Do what makes you happy. You know, that's just our mentality. That's my mentality, and that's why I'm trying to get her to, like, who the hell cares? If you're willing to do that and take that drive, then by all means, baby, do you, boo boo. So Lexi is just about done. She's getting some routine blood work or whatever. No big deal. She got a little bit of good news, which is the kind of good news that everybody wants to hear. So if she's, I'll see if she wants to share that with you. Um, we're, I know after this we're both pretty hungry because none of us ate yet, and there's a spot that we love to go to while we're here in Goldsboro. It was her favorite spot to eat when we were here, and now I'm sure she's gonna use it as an excuse, the fact that we're here, to go there. So it's a Mongolian spot. And if you've never been, Mongolian is like an Asian food, but it's not fried. It's not deep fried. And what it is so you walk in and somebody will meet you. They'll get a table, a booth for you, whatever you prefer, and they'll meet you at the they'll ask you, like, what kind of rice do you want? Do you want any bread? And what do you want to drink? And then they'll tell you, go ahead, get online. And so you get online and you pick up some bowls, however many bowls you can get, if you want to carry these little white bowls. And you can get your veggies, and then you pick up your protein, and then you hand it to the cooks, and they'll ask you, like, if you want it spicy or not, and then they'll season it with their various different sauces and stuff like that. And then you here she comes. And then they'll cook it in front of you, and like I said, I love it because it's not fried. It's on like a big round griddle type thing or whatever. Hard to explain, but you're gonna see it. So here she is, and let's see where we wind up.
¡Ay, sabroso! Dale tumbao, Tony. ¡Ay, qué rico, rico! ¡Camina! ¿Cómo dice mi coro ahí? Ah. Juega, juega bonito, juega con el tumbao. La verdad, juega, juega.
So understand that Lexi and I are both grown. We grew up in New York City, largest city in the country. You know, as far as population, and you know, city that never sleeps, Big Apple, all that stuff, right? So we're used to things. You know, we grew up seeing things a certain way and stuff like that. So when we moved out, when I moved out here first because I joined the military, and when we met, like I had to convince her to come down, which was, you know, a culture shock for her because, you know, all her life she spent, what, 35, 36 years when you moved down in New York City, you know, so it was a big adjustment for her. But when we first, you know, we finally got down here and we saw things that, you know, it was like, wow, like this seems so simple, and it seems so simple in a good way. Like, you know, you don't have the hustle and bustle, you don't have all that stuff, just, you know, people out enjoying lives like those, you know, two young guys that we just saw. But what's funny is that what I want to ask is how many of you live out in the country? Because when you travel from Fayetteville to Goldsboro, one of the ways you could take, the best way to take, I think, is to come down 13. And there's a lot of farmland, and there's even not a butcher shop, but like what is it called? I don't even know. Like, they do something there. I don't know, like, but there's such a smell. There's a smell. Like, it's like something with hogs and, like, I don't know. Maybe there's a butcher factory or something. I don't know what it is, but oh my God, like, there's smell. You come down, and especially during, you know, when it's hot, and there's a house which I showed you. I'll show you. There's a house that has farmland, and he has this big contraption. I didn't see it out there today, but he has this big contraption that waters or fertilizes the farmland, and it's poop water. It's like manure or something like that, from what I'm told. And it's just spraying. But when you go by and he has that thing on, like, you can smell it in the road. It's just like, wow. And when we were coming through, headed to Goldsboro, like, we passed, like I said, the butcher place, whatever it is, and it was like, wow, you smell it. And it smells so bad, but it's such a, like, we love the smell because it's like, you know, like, this is like, you know, you're in the country. So to anybody who says that, you know, to ask the question, you know, country versus city living, I think that at this point of our lives, we are definitely like being in the country more. Like, we enjoy, like, don't get me wrong, like, city living is, you know, if you're into that kind of thing, then, you know, there's no place like it. But man, I love living out in the country. Like, it just, like, you see like people having a good time, just entertaining themselves and doing stuff, like, out in their own yards and their own peace, and just vibing. Like, it's so great. And there's the smells, the sounds, the stuff you see, like, you don't see anywhere else. You don't see anywhere else. It's amazing.
Hi, baby. Hi, Gronk.
At the end of the day, stop trying to make everyone else understand your choices. Make the decisions that make you happy, because you're the one who has to live with them. If you can lay your head down at night, at peace, with your own moves, then that's all that matters.